Today we have a very interesting topic, and that topic is human body rejuvenation. Human body rejuvenation is something that we often see in media publications and even on videos explaining how to improve the overall well-being of the human body today. So today we are going to discuss in detail, and meanwhile, if you have any questions, queries, you can raise your hand and you can chat, and at the end of the webinar, I'll be trying to address all those questions. So this is Adnan. Welcome to Amwell's training webinar for the month of June 2019. And today's subject is human body rejuvenation. As I told you, if you see now all the media publications or the videos and everything, on YouTube, you can find that the buzz is going on, like anti-aging, cell rejuvenation, cell regeneration, and even nowadays scientists are also increasingly looking at anti-aging techniques, different kinds of techniques, whether it is through conventional medicine or through other alternative medicine. They are finding all the anti-aging techniques that would help make people look and feel younger, while at the same time they're also targeting to address the age-related diseases like arthritis and Alzheimer's and all these. These are mostly the diseases which is connected with the age. So once the rejuvenation happens properly, they believe that there will be a reversal of even such issues or such problems. So that is how today's topic, which is human body rejuvenation, is playing a very important role. Let us discuss more on that, and probably you might find that we'll be talking more about the cells and the minute particles of our body, the organisms and everything. You might be finding like a cliche, because whenever in our program we talk about cells and tissues and other things. But in this webinar, I cannot help. I have to go in detail because we are talking about the human body rejuvenation. Of course, rejuvenation happens at the cellular level, at the DNA level, and much more deeper than that as well. So let's start human body rejuvenation. And let me bring out a small disclaimer. The information contained in this presentation has not been evaluated by FDA. This information is not intended to treat, to diagnose, or cure, or prevent any disease. All information provided is for just educational purposes only, and always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you have regarding a medical condition and or before taking or undertaking any diet, exercise, or other health programs. Now, the main problem, now we have a very big problem, that is epidemic of chronic disease. It is really affecting the life of the people, not only in US, all across the globe. If you see, the chronic diseases are increasing. It's like an epidemic growing everywhere, whether it is diabetes or, all kinds of degenerative issues or autoimmune disorders, which are more chronic. It is really decreasing our quality of life. It is decreasing our longevity, and eventually even it is emptying our pocket as well. So the main reason of such chronic diseases we are facing these days is mainly like we are deviating from the organic essence of life. So if you see in terms of diet or the sunlight, environmental toxins and infections and the gut health, lack of physical activity, lack of proper sleep, and on top of that, the stress. So there are many reasons you can find as the basic reason for all kinds of chronic diseases. Okay, even when you take very simple, what do you call the insulin resistance, it is not something which is developed in over a night or something. It has, what do you call it, taken its own maybe the whole life. So many years we have not been taking proper diet, and the stress and without proper sleep and all, automatically that the insulin resistance had happened, and that's the main reason for the type 2 diabetes, which is one of the chronic disease. Now, to go in detail to know what exactly the human body rejuvenation, of course, we need to go from the atomic level to the whole body. Okay, and how does the cells work? So here, it all starts with atoms. We all know that everything is, whether it is matter or a living being, everything is atom. Only the difference between the living things and the non-living things is both are atoms, but in living things you can find cells. So here we are talking about the living thing. That also again starts with atom, and atom of course is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Now if you see atom, even in our body, even we cannot count it, billions and trillions of atoms we have. Just imagine when you take a deep breath, you are inhaling or you are taking in 10 to the power of 22 atoms. That also how many zeros you can count it. And the same way when we exhale also we are throwing out atom. So it is an ongoing process whereby our body is nothing but atom. It's a huge what do you call bundle of atom. Now this building block or this atom is creating or bonding together and they create molecules. Right. Now, these molecules, if you see, because water molecule contains hydrogen and oxygen. So when two atoms bond together, it becomes molecule. So if you take one hydrogen and two oxygen, it becomes a water molecule. Like that carbon dioxide, if you take one carbon and two oxygen, it becomes carbon dioxide. Like that, it becomes molecule. Then this molecule, or those molecules, they bond together and they form organelles. This organelles is very important structure in our cellular system. This is like the organ inside the cell. It's like in a living cell, if you see, whether it is the nucleus or the cell wall or, chloroplast or whatever it is inside, that is formed by organelles. So organelles is the third stage. And these organelles form cells. So when these organelles are formed or the cell parts are formed, it becomes a cell, what we call, whether it is white blood cells or red blood cells or adipocytes, T cells or whatever cells we call. All these, even the osteoclast and all these are all cells which is formed by organelles. Correct. Now, these cells are considered to be like the smallest living units in our body. Now, these cells, once these cells join together, the similar types of cells get together, they form tissues. Now, we have different types of tissues like epithelial tissues or connective tissues, muscle tissues and nervous tissues for the brain and spinal cord and all these, the nervous tissue. So all these tissues are made up of these cells. So we are coming to the tissues now. Now, when the two or more tissues combine, they form organs. That organ has, of course, it has a specific function, it has a specific job to do. Like, for example, one of the major organ in our body we can call the skin. It is made up of hair tissue, oil and sweat gland tissue, nerve tissue, blood tissue, and many other tissues, to make this the organ called the skin. So that's how the organs are formed. Now, once the organs arranged together to function together, it forms like an organ system. The function of an organ system depends on the integrated activity of its organ. For instance, you can take digestive system, skeletal system, the lymphatic system, reproductive system, urinary system, the endocrine system. A lot of systems. In fact, we have almost 11 systems in our body. So what happened, this organ forms like as a system that we call it organ systems. Then it forms the human body. So we call organisms. So organ systems combine to form an organism or the whole body. So the survival of the organism depends on the integrated activity of all the organ systems, often coordinated by the endocrine and nervous system. So this is happening in our body. So human body it's a complex organism that comprises of systems, organs, and many other components. So everything in our body needs to work effectively together in order to bring about the synergy in the body. So we call it as a homeostasis. Now, let us go a little bit deeper. We have, like, for example, 25,000 genes in our body at the time of the conception. Of course, the genes, they make our body. Gene is nothing but even the DNA. So all these are coming as the minutest part from the cell. Okay. Or these are all made up of atom, we should say straightly. So in general, if you look at the human body as a system wise, we can generally divide our body system into three parts. Like, for example, electrical. Electrical is something which we can call the nervous system. All these are electrical system. And the second system is the mechanical. In the mechanical system, mostly our musculoskeletal functions are all mechanical system. Of course, the muscular movements, when it contrasts and expand and all, that also create a lot of energy, which is giving back to the body, which is giving back to the brain, which also helps a lot of feedback processes. And then we have the third system, which is biochemical system. This is also very important. We can call this as an endocrine system. All the hormones, secretions, and all are falling. So we can categorize the system in our body as electrical, mechanical, and biochemical. So electrical is for the nervous system, mechanical is for musculoskeletal system, and the biochemical is for the endocrine system. Now, when you see our body generally, because of whatever the lifestyle we have these days, you can find our body it's like a battlefield. There are silent inflammation inside. You can see the free radical attacks, and you can find the cell mutation can also be due to many, many reasons. It can be even due to our lifestyle, our diet, or whatever our problems. You can find the cell mutations happening in our body. Even the organs are being damaged again for a prolonged time. When you start damaging, it's like the people they call heart attack. Heart never attack us. We attack the heart. That exactly happens, you know. So the organ damages are happening because of our carelessness. Then, of course, the parasite because of our living environment, the hygienic things and all these. So our body is like a battlefield. And if you see in our body, you can find war going on within. You can find lots of amoeba kind, the protozoa, or even parasites, a lot of bacteria and viruses. These are all microbes. In fact, the microbes or the cells or the DNA of the microbes in our body are more than genes what we have inherited from our parents. So we are like more bacterial genome, more bacterial people, not the human. So it is always there in our body. So imagine only 1% of our genes we get from human, and the balance 99% we are getting from bacteria. So basically we all are bacteria. So now imagine when we even go to a toilet and we just clear our bowel, that shows we have to say thank you because we are getting more human. You know, because the bacteria are going out and the percentage of the human bacteria is coming a little more there. So this exactly happening in our body. There are a lot of microbes are there. Some are good, some are bad also, like bacteria. There are good bacteria and there are bad bacteria as well. Now, if you see the chronic diseases, nowadays, you can find there are 12,500 diseases classified by WHO. I don't think that is enough, because nowadays new diseases are also like springing up every now and then. So if you approach the whole thing with a reductionistic science approach, or like the conventional science approach, you can find, of course, there are so many diseases, but at the same time, if you look all these diseases from a holistic point of view, you know, from a quantum point of view, it is not that much. You know, all diseases are, the reason is something very simple or very small, but you need to think in a holistic term, not in reductionistic or, you know, terms where you have to go in minute particles, because normally in the reductionistic science or in the conventional medicine, any problem they have, they go to the minute particles, like for example, the tissue, cells, and whatever it is. From cells, they know they again go and stuck with the particle. They don't go further. But only the quantum physics, there's no more particles. Everything is in wave form. So waves are always the possibilities. So that's how the importance of having a different approach, of the holistic approach, playing a vital role, especially in attending all these kind of diseases and all these. So here, normally, if you see, as per the normal science, you can find the DNA is there, the DNA is a little bit mutated, and of course, it can damage the chromosomes, and this will also have problem of dysfunctional nucleus. Then the cell is getting mutated, and of course, when the cell is mutated, it will form the malignant tissues. When the tissues are malignant, it will form disease in the organs, and it will reflect in our body in, like as you said, 12,500, diseases. Some diseases we cannot even spell out because mostly are Latin and Greek words. So this is what exactly happening. Now, even when you see, just by symptoms alone, like we can recognize the damage or a problem. Example, like nerve and the neurological damage, we only come to know just by looking at the symptom. Probably it will be starting with the tingling effect, then it will be like the muscle weakness, then goes to the numbness. Okay, then at the end you can find the loss of balance or loss of coordination. So this is how we come to know, it is not all of a sudden. Of course, stage by stage it will show its own symptoms when any sort of degenerative issue comes in our physical system. Now, you can find a lot of remedies, common remedies available as per the science these days. You can find the immunoactivation, because now it's all very simple. Like if somebody, they cannot have a normal delivery, they go for a cesarean. If they cannot conceive a baby, they go for an artificial. So everything in the conventional way, they don't go naturally. They trying to find the shortcut how to get it done. But as we try all those things, of course, if it is not natural, it will have its own side effects, it will have its own problems, So you can find even the babies who are not born naturally, you can find the immunity power is so weak. So now they found out that when the baby is born properly, not through the cesarean, naturally when the baby is born, the baby is coming out through that vaginal tract, and it is with a lot of the bacteria or microbes. So that itself will improve the immunity power of the baby, and all these you can find. Even you can find the breast milk also. When the breast milk, immune boosting things. So like that. So nowadays, any problem they find or the immunity is weak, so there is immunoactivation. So what they do, they take the T cells from our body and they reprogram it or reactivate it and put it back to the body. They increase the immunity function like that. So they improve the immunity outside the body. It's processed in the lab and putting back, So a lot of immunoactivation is going on nowadays, and it's quite expensive as well. Then goes to the surgery part of it. So these are the basic remedy commonly available now in the conventional medicine. Then goes to the chemotherapy, radiation, and all these stuff. But at the same time, if you see the healthy model, you can find right from the DNA itself. Of course, DNA is nothing but atom only. The DNA itself, healthy DNA, healthy chromosomes, healthy nucleus of the cell, healthy cell, and of course, these healthy cells form the healthy tissue forms a healthy organs and a healthy human body. So this should be the actual rejuvenated process what we ought to have in our system or a healthy model. Now, let us go dig little deeper into the DNA, because we all talk about DNA. DNA is something which is it's a very huge subject, DNA, RNA and all. But again, here there are certain things which will amaze us. If you see the DNA, the amount of DNA an adult has in their body, DNA look like a helix-like thing. It's a strand, and if you straighten it or if you unwind it and you put it in a single length, you won't believe you can reach from Earth to Moon 6,000 times. Imagine 6,000 times you can reach from Earth to Moon just from your DNA alone. So that much DNA we have in our body. Imagine the billions and trillions of atoms and the DNA, whatever we have in our body. Okay, this is what you call the building materials. But here, before DNA, how the DNA is made? This is a good question, because the people, they think, okay, atom is there, but at the same time, there should be some sort, because anything happening in our body, it is affecting onto our DNA. Correct. That is the final stage where it is being affected. Now, when any damage or anything occurs in the DNA, it can be maybe DNA is cutting off or DNA is getting damaged or whatever reasons it may be. There must be something which is building, like a building blocks or the proteins of DNA, that is known as nucleotides. So nucleotides is the building block of the DNA. And nucleotides, of course, you can find, we get nucleotides from the food we eat. That is one of the main things. Or the best example I can give you, the nucleotides, the first nucleotide a baby gets when the baby is born is mother's milk. Especially that, the colostrum, the first yellow thick milk. And that is the superfood. That is the first superfood ever a baby going to have, and that is the super vaccination, that is the super immunotherapy, because that contains everything and anything. This breast milk. That's why you can find in US and all now, even the government, even the different ladies association, even WHO is also strongly advising mothers to go for breastfeeding and all these, because it's very good for the baby, for the longevity of the baby, for the immunity power of the baby and all these. That's why the kangaroo mother care, you can find a lot of organization, they're promoting all these. So the nucleotides we are talking about, that is the building blocks, and that is like the protein. There are certain items, 4 or 5 items are there in that. We will talk in detail again. So these things, we, of course, in fact, these nucleotides are being made in our body itself. Sometimes we don't need to even supplement also. If the body is healthy enough, we don't need to supplement also, but we are having already enough nucleotides in our body. Okay, certain times because of the deprivation, like you don't have enough the proper minerals and things like that in the body, on those times you need to probably replenish through certain proper nutrition or fermented goods and other things. So the nucleotides make DNA, then the DNA make the cells, and the cell make the tissues, and tissue make the organ system. It is same thing. This is how it goes. Just to talk more about the DNA, for example, just imagine your house is broken. Okay, broken maybe because of natural calamity or a war or whatever it is, it's little bit broken, and you have a strong workforce with you, you have the plan, you have everything, but do you think you can make the house when you don't have the right material, when you don't have the bricks and mortar and cement and wood and other things? So just the manpower alone will not help. This is what exactly happening in our body as well. When our body is having any problem when it comes to the organ issues or any organ damage or whatever it is, these are all coming from the DNA, and the DNA is being damaged. Our body has the self-intelligence system, our body has the immune system, our body has a lot of things, but at the same time the body needs the right raw material to bring it back. Correct. Now, those things are called nucleotides, and this is, or I should say, the superfood or whatever. So the main items are adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine and all. You can find all these in a majority of our AMGENX products like Vicola and all you can find. Now, when we talk about the human regeneration or the body regeneration, we need to talk more about one subject, which is autophagy. because autophagy is some subject we cannot omit when we talk about the human regeneration, because each cell only has a specific lifespan. After that, of course, the cells die off. So fortunately here, the cell proliferation comes to our rescue. When cells reproduce, they divide into two. So this process is something new. It starts the day, of course, the cell proliferation or cell differentiation and all, it is starting even when we are born. We call it, when we are born, we were only just one cell known as zygote. Then later it has the morphogenesis happened and the cell differentiation came in place. The new cells are being produced, are being started dividing, and the new cells are having its own functions. That's how each and every organs and organ systems are developed in our body through morphogenesis. Now, when we talk about this cell rejuvenation and cell proliferation, we cannot ignore this autophagy, because this is something very new. Recently, it's talked about in a very big way, and you can find the name of Dr. Yoshinori Osumi. Is a Japanese cell biologist who has got Nobel Prize in medicine for this particular research in the medical field regarding autophagy. Why he is talking about autophagy? Because when the old cells die, or after a certain time the cells die, it needs to recycle, because where the waste will go, where the debris will go. So what really happened, there is something automatically happening in our body. That's why he named it autophagy. That means auto means self and phagy means to eat. So autophagy is the cells will eat themselves. It is self-eating cells. So this, in fact, happening in our body in many cases, knowingly or unknowingly, because if autophagy doesn't happen properly in our body, we will develop a lot of issues, including diabetes and different issues, Parkinson's and all these, what we see. This is because the autophagy is not happening properly. In the cells, there are special recycling compartments. They call it lysosome. And with the help of some special digestive enzymes, when we talk about our DNA, the activation of liver comes, the liver creates a lot of digestive enzymes and all. These digestive enzymes, certain digestive enzymes are very important to recycle the damaged cells and use the material for making new cells. So whatever is there, the debris, whatever is the waste, recycled, junk, viruses, bacteria, damaged, worn out tissues are there. All these will be digested and they form new cells. Okay, so we can't survive without that. They are made of, they break the protein into amino acid and they create the building material to create new cells out of it. Body can eat its own protein of dead cells and damage. That's why nowadays you can find the intermittent fasting comes in place. A lot of people now, they are fond of fasting. Fasting helps to reduce obesity, to reduce different health related issues, because when you do the fasting, the autophagy is getting activated. This is number one. Even recent studies going on, even when you do the aerobics also, the autophagy is getting activated. This is something I heard very recently. So if you see, a normal person needs 7 to 10 ounces of protein. For an average person, they have to consume 7 to 10 ounces of protein. Okay, but actually we don't have that much protein. An average person normally has only 2 to 3 ounces of protein a day. So do you think it is enough? No. So that's where the autophagy comes into play. So by using the protein from the garbage of our own body, the autophagy work properly, it can create new cells and we can come out of all these kind of chronic issues like diabetes or Parkinson's or age-related issues, cancer and all this. So this autophagy is activated when we undergo sort of stress, not mental stress, we call it stress or the calorie restriction stress or fasting or whatever it is. So this is how the autophagy, and another plus point is that when we reduce the calorie intake in our body, it will automatically increase the nitric oxide in our body, and that nitric oxide can also detoxify and rejuvenate our body. So that's why the people, they all love to do this called the fasting nowadays. Now we will talk little about our approach, the Amwell approach on human body rejuvenation. So now we know what exactly is body rejuvenation, what are the body components, and how the modern approach, how they define it, how they approach towards the cellular thing, and they just need to go as a downward causation, whatever they call. Like if you have a problem related to the cells, they will take out the cell. Now there's a cell regeneration program is happening all over. Now they're connecting with the insurance companies, and also when a baby is born, even you can give a portion of the umbilical cord. They will keep it, they will process it, they'll keep it in the freezer. So whenever the baby is grown 20 years, 30 years, or whatever age, and the baby is having, or the adult is having any problem, any issue, health related issue, so the same cell can be used to, they will multiply the cell in the laboratory and they will put back into, so the new cell which has already been healthily programmed, it can resist the body in a much better way. So that's how the cell regeneration, already the science is going on. A lot of countries, they're already doing it. Normally when we have any problem, you take a pill, and there will be a stage now when you have any problem, instead of pill you take a cell. that is going to happen nowadays. Now we come to Amwell's approach. Amwell's approach, we have two things. Number one is AFT, and number two is epigenetics. Okay. Now in the AFT, when we see the human body rejuvenation, we talk about energetic wellness, because everything needs energy. Our body has a natural healing ability. We need energy to facilitate our body's natural healing ability. That is the main thing. So we just categorize these two areas, the cellular voltage, how to improve the cellular voltage. So this is where the 0-point energy field, or the MIS diffusion technology, helps us. Okay, so when we do the proper bonding, the self-bonding, or whatever the 0-point resonance tools usage, how we use it properly over our energy centers and all, our body, the innate intelligence, can take in enough amount of energy, and that energy can facilitate our cells and the DNA and the chromosomes and whatever the micromolecular element is there. It will activate every bit of them, and it can function properly. This is the approach, Amwell's approach on the human body rejuvenation. And number two is epigenetics. You know that we have when we are born, we have 25,000 genes, and very few are only from our parents, and the majority of the genes are from the bacteria or microbe. So basically, we are all microbial. Microbial genes in our body are more. So here we have the DNA, and the DNA has, of course, its own function, the DNA coding, whatever it is that is there. But at the same time, when any mutation happens, sometimes we need to on and off the switch, the gene expression. You need to on and off without affecting the gene, the main genetic code. So that is the reason the epigenetics came into being, so that you can change the gene expression without affecting the genetic code. So we have got many products right in place. We have got DNA switch on. This is a wonderful product where we can activate our liver, which is through the sulforaphane. And of course, as I said, when you activate your liver, the liver has got more than 500 of function. It is not just the protein metabolism. It's not just the detoxification. It's not just, bile secretion, whatever. It has got huge functions, more than 500 functions. So this DNA switch on can literally activate or switch on so that it can do its function at the maximum, at the optimum level. And since the product is already embedded with the MIS diffusion technology, we are getting double effect. Number one, the potentiality, the potency of the ingredient being amplified in a much higher way that gives the body much energy. Plus, it works onto the epigenetic science also, so that our body has enough capacity to resist all sorts of diseases, all sorts of imbalances, and our body can help even for the autophagy or for the cellular rejuvenation. The body can give its own nucleotides and provide enough huge quantity of raw material for making the DNA and all. So that way, especially the Vicola and switch on helps a lot. And plus for the cleansing thing, for the colon cleansing and other things, we can use the Fibergo, because Fibergo, of course, our intake is much less compared to normally we need 15 to 30 grams of fiber every day, but nobody take that much fiber because the fiber helps to do the cleansing and other things of the colon, because the colons have a lot of pockets, so you can find a lot of toxins, accumulated waste is already there. So it is very crucial to do the cleansing of the colon by taking enough amount of fiber, because what happens, normally nobody cares to keep the internal pH balance. This is the main area where the situation will be more alarming, because when our pH balance is very low in our body, at the same time, when we don't have enough amount of fiber intake and we are not cleansing, if the cumulative waste is all there, it can easily lead to colon cancer and things like that. So that's why that is also one of the very good product which helps in terms of the cleansing and other things. Then we have Amgenex, Amsole, that also helps a lot for the mineral imbalance, whatever we have, because most of the problems we have, either it is from depletion or from the toxins. So the mineral deficiency is one of the major reasons for major problems, and at the same time, otherwise it may be a toxin. So these two are the major problem normally happens in our body. So our products are designed in such a way that it is addressing one by one issues together and at the same time individually as well. And we have Immu5. This is also a wonderful product which improves our immunity system through this Ayurvedic ingredients. Now here, why I'm stressing more on to the epigenetics and the Amgenex range, because if you see, our body rebuilds itself in less than 1 year, except for certain like cartilage. But there are majority of our organs are being rebuilt. Okay, including the bones, it takes 3 months, the DNA, it takes 2 months. But one thing did you notice in this? The stomach day takes only 5 days. And this is the catch. That means if you do correction in your diet, that means our stomach can easily regenerate much faster than all the other rest of the organ system. That is the reason it is very easy that if you change your diet, you can easily change the whole thing. So the easiness, the efficacy of having a good nutrient product or good the food. Normally we say that we are what we eat. In fact, nowadays the people, they changed it. We are what our microbes eat. So we should eat for our microbe, because microbes is the one which is really helping us for the immunity and the regeneration and the rejuvenation and everything. So that is the reason we have to take care of our stomach, and it is possible only the proper nutrition and the fermented like lactic acid and other things. So that is the importance of having the Amgenex, because our stomach, it totally rebuilds new every 5 days. So if you see the whole Amgenex range of products, the benefit wise, if we go, it helps, it increases in life energy, the nutrient absorption increases, it improves our stamina. It aids in DNA repair. This is where I was telling you about the nucleotides and the building materials which our body itself makes. It works like a superfood and it creates all these raw materials. then it improves the sleep, and it gives us better blood health, and it works like an antioxidant and anti-aging and anti-inflammatory stuff, because most of the products are antioxidant, and it helps in scavenging all sorts of cancerous cells and things like that. So, and it helps boost our immune system and overall to maintain our pH balance also. That is the reason in Amwell, our whole body rejuvenation happens, number one, with our AFT technology, number two, with our all AMGenX range. That's all what I wanted to share, and if anybody has any questions, you can just key into the chat box. I will try to answer.
All right, there is one question asked, Adnan, and thank you very much for this wonderful insights on the human body rejuvenation. The question is, does wanding helps in human body rejuvenation? If yes, how?
Very good. In fact, I have already touched this when I was discussing previous slide. In fact, as I told, the AFT is basically improving as the voltage of our cellular emission is improved. Normally, if you see a healthy cell should vibrate in a much better way. Like, for example, if you take the VibraScan scalar special device where you can find, if you put that onto a person, and if the vibration is 250 megahertz or less than 250 megahertz, that shows that the person vibration is smaller, and it is called a illness provoking vibration. And if the vibration is higher, above 250 megahertz, it shows it's a wellness-provoking vibration. So what happens when you do the wanding to a person, especially you start from the crown chakra to do all the 7 energy centers, you can find the vibration of the body is increasing. Even not only on the body, you can try it on the water, you can try it on any substances what we eat. So the vibration increases. So it increases the cellular voltage as well, because always we tell an ideal cell, a healthy cell should emit 70 to 90 volt. Now here, once we have got enough amount of energy gained, I mean the life force energy, through the wanding, by creating the vertex of 0-point resonance tools, whatever we have, even wearing our pendant or whatever it is. So it improves our cellular energy. This, once the cellular energy is improved, of course, it regains its memory, it boosts its rejuvenative function. It is overall helping the whole system. So AMWand really helps for the human body rejuvenation, yes. So thank you so much. So I just wanted to, normally we say think well, do well and all these, but here I should say eat well. Eat well means don't eat for you, eat for your microbes. Okay, so eat well, live well, and be well. Because whenever we need to take a decision on something, we need to change whatever we need to do. Always we think of what we are going to lose, what we need to give up. Okay, we don't think much on what we are going to gain. So it is very important that we should think more on first what we are going to gain, not on what we are going to lose. Maybe sometime we need to sacrifice certain food with your tongue or your mouth wants, but sometimes you need to eat for your microbes. You need to eat well so that you will have a healthy gut. Of course, the healthy gut is the main thing. You need to have a good flora in your gut. Then only it will improve your total status of your body. So that's all I just wanted to share with you. And thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you. May the energy be with you.